97.3 The Fan.
Hello and welcome into the Skraby Show for March 16th, 2016. Thank you so much for joining me today. We got a little bit of a different Skraby show schedule this week with us heading out to Peoria on Wednesday. There's no Skraby Show Wednesday, and then I believe you have a Padres game on Thursday at 6 p.m., so there will be no Skraby Show. But we got a Skraby Show for today and tomorrow, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about tonight. There's a lot that happened over the weekend, and there's a lot more questions about the starting rotation than we really had about 2 weeks ago. There are a lot more there are a lot more questions about the starting rotation, I think, than before the season even began, spring training even began. Joe Musgrove is likely headed to the IL. We will talk about that. I'll play what Craig Stammen said about that. We'll also hear from Craig Stammen after the win today against the Giants. He had a few notes to deliver to everyone, just so you can get caught up on what happened today. The Padres did win their game, and it was, it's just another spring training game, apparently, according to everyone. That seems to be the thing that it's always said, is that it's just another spring training game, nothing to see here. Well, they did win 3-1. Estrada got the win. Let's see. Walker Buehler. That is the news story out of this game. And with Walker Buehler seemingly pitching pretty well right now, he is going to be in this rotation when the season starts. It's not even a question to me at this point. He will be at least the number 5 starter, but likely the number 4 starter to start the year. And that's all because Joe Musgrove is injured. So I'll get into that in just a second. But I would like to tell you how to watch. You can go and watch on Facebook, 97.3 The Fan. You can watch on YouTube, 97.3 The Fan. You can watch on my YouTube at The Skraby Show. X at Matt Skraby, 97.3 The Fan SD on X as well. And that is about it for today. I have some really nice things being said in the chat today. Tyler says, "Everyone quiet, my show is on." That's actually one of the greatest honors of all time. I've never had someone say, "Everybody quiet, my show is on," about my show. Captain DJ says, "Matt Skraby is in the house." Yes, I am in the house. Thank you for coming and watching the show, all of that. I have to start with something, because my daily gripe was going to be this, but they have bothered me so much today that I need to make them my gripe to start the show. But I have earbuds, and in radio, you need these things. I knew it. Chris, I knew it. Chris just snuck in the studio, hoping that I didn't see him, but he left his phone and he realized it, so he just snuck in. Anyway, I absolutely hate these things. And it's not like they're not bad. I actually like the way that they fit my ear, but it's like the hardest thing in the world to get these earbuds in my ear. I have to put the cord behind my ear. I have to do all this other stuff. So I've been having a lot of trouble putting these earbuds in today. Again, I like the way that they feel inside the ear, because as someone who wears earbuds every single day doing this job, my old earbuds would hurt my ears, and I don't know why it would, but now these fit great. It's just getting them on is a show. Tony was laughing at me in the break with me trying to get this on, because I cannot, for the life of me, figure these things out. So I'll keep you up to date on that situation, which is what everybody wants to know about, is my headphone situation or earbud situation. All right, before we get into Walker Buehler, I think that we need to get into with what happened with Joe Musgrove today. Now, we've been thinking about this ever since it was revealed that he was having soreness in his arm, but Chris was spot on. Chris said he's going to be on the IL to start the year. And I said, wait. Don't go there yet. Well, Chris was right. So here is Craig Stammen talking to the media this morning.
Yeah, he's most likely going to start on the IL this year. I mean, it's, we're getting to the point where he's taking enough time off that it'd be hard to ramp him up, to get him to be a viable starter that can throw 5 innings, 90 pitches. So, like I said, this was part of the plan.
Right.
And we knew he was going to have to take some time off. We knew we were going to have to, get him ready for the entire season and not just opening day.
So what's it do to your rotation?
Well, we've got a lot of depth. We've got a lot of competition here in spring training. It's been fun to watch, and guys are competing for spots. We'll miss.
All right, so we already got the one part that I wanted to play, the information about Joe Musgrove. But when he says this was all part of the plan, I don't know what specifically he's not, or what he's talking about specifically as a part of the plan, but I can't see soreness in your arm in spring training was a part of the plan. And so, again, I don't know what he was saying was part of the plan. Was it always known that at some point Joe was going to have to go on the IL because his elbow was barking at him? I can see that. I can actually see that. Like, it makes sense to me that a guy coming off of a Tommy John surgery and easing his way back in. Now, we did talk about how he had all of that time off from when he injured his elbow up until this spring training, because he injured it during the playoffs. So it was just bad timing for him to come back the next season. I'm not too worried about this yet. I will get worried when we go through a couple rotation turns and he's not back yet. I would think that Joe Musgrove will be back at least by his third start. I would think so. If all goes according to plan, which it hasn't so far, so we need to take this with a grain of salt. But if everything goes according to plan, Joe's back for his third start, and that would be okay. And Kevin Acee actually wrote today something that I thought was, valuable in this first part of the season, but he said the Padres played just 6 games in the season's first 8 days, which means they could conceivably get through at least their first 10 games without needing a 5th starter. If they strategically used a bullpen game at that point, they can make it even further with just 4 starting pitchers on the roster. Now, do I think that tells me that they have thought about this? That tells me that they're not really going into the year thinking, hey, we have to have 5 the first time through the rotation. We can have 4 because we have off days. We're going to be able to manipulate the schedule that way. And that does make sense to me if that was something that they did, because if you have these days off and you don't have to use a 5th starter, then don't use the 5th starter. And so I'm fine with the 4. And now we got to check into the 4, because we have Michael King, Nick Pivetta, Randy Vasquez, and I guess Walker Buehler. That is the 4 right there. And so you don't need the 5th starter for the first 8 games of the season. But what does this do to the rest of the rotation? Well, it gives an opportunity for someone to take that 5th spot, and it just doesn't seem like anyone is going to be doing that. It doesn't seem like Germán Marquez has been good enough to outright just win that 5th spot. It doesn't seem like, Marco Gonzalez is pitching very well, Tristan McKenzie. So there's a lot of guys that this opportunity is open for. And there's a lot of guys this opportunity is open for, but no one is taking it right now. And they have to take it. H2O says, you're trying to convince yourself to buy into the BS. What is the actual BS? Tell me the BS. Because if the BS to you is Joe Musgrove going on the injured list, I mean, I would think that would have been expected at some point, because not all these guys are going to come back and just be able to put up 180 innings. Oh, he says, or he or she says, that this is all planned. Now, I'm not saying it was planned at all. I'm not saying it was planned. I'm saying there are options, and Kevin Acee was presenting an option. So I didn't think that they were planning on having Joe Musgrove go on the IL to start the year. That is not what I was saying. I was saying that it would make sense if they were planning to put him on the IL at some point during the year. I do not think that this was planned. I do not think that they wanted this to happen. I am pretty sure they wanted Joe Musgrove to start the year in their rotation. But if we're going to try to believe or to parse through who to believe, who not to believe, I'm just going to go with what happens. And I cannot live and die by everything that Craig Stammen says, although that is the information we get. So I'm not sure what I don't, it doesn't really matter what we believe at this point, to be honest. What we believe is that there's not going to be Joe Musgrove on this team starting opening day. It's just not going to happen. So you got to move forward. Do I think they planned it? No, absolutely not. They want Joe Musgrove a part of this season. But now they're having to go through and figure out different things as to how they're going to get through the first couple weeks, maybe month of the season. I'm not so worried about the first month of the season. Now, can the first month of the season, like, can it give away your season? It can't give away the season, but it could definitely help you bury yourself very, very early. But I think since this is all happening coming out of spring training, I'm just hoping that everyone gets together or gets whatever they need to get fixed and fix it and just get everybody back. Because we really don't need everybody to start the year. And yes, this might be Padres propaganda, but we do need a lot of those guys to finish the year, which I'd much rather than be safe with Joe Musgrove now rather than having him try to pitch through it a little bit and then re-injure himself, and then we don't have him for the rest of the year. And I don't believe that they're thinking he's out for the year. So believe, there are things that we do have to, fight through when a manager comes out and says this guy's injured or this guy is a day-to-day guy, because we have been misled in the past. But again, it's injuries. So how can you really, we can't necessarily prove 1,000% that they were lying or any team is lying. So everybody's just got to take whatever it is with a grain of salt, and I will help get through it with everyone. All right, Eugenio Suarez, Venezuela hit a home run, top of the fourth inning. Italy still leads Venezuela 2-1 in the World Baseball Classic. When we get back, we're going to hear from Craig Stammen after today's game. We're also going to talk a little bit about Michael King, and we'll see where else everything goes when we get back here on the Skraby Show.
Jack here with
Matt Skraby broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. 97.3 The Fan, The Skraby Show. Thank you for being here. I was looking at the chat in the break, and our friend, who was it? H2O, said they were just dooming. And I get that. And that's the great thing about sports, is that there's actually, like, unless you're really, really just not presenting the facts, there's no real wrong opinion in sports. So I understand why people are dooming. I understand all sides of it. I understand that there have been things in the past with the Padres that seem to be minor and then end up being major. If you look at what happened, if you go back to like when Fernando fell off the motorcycle, at first it was he'll be back, and then, the whole suspension, it was just a bad situation. So I understand why people can hear this and process this and think, this is terrible for our team, and this is terrible for the start of the season. But the positive side of me says, but this is the start of the season. There are many things that can happen throughout a season. Last year, Padres started 7-0, and they had a pretty good record through their first, 20 games, 15 games? Turns out, in the end of the year, they needed those games. So if I'm going to be looking at the bright side of of Joe Musgrove being on the IL and the rotation seemingly somewhat falling apart right now, I'm going to look at the bright side and say this is happening at the beginning of the year and not the end of the year. If something happened to Joe Musgrove, say in August, much worse for the team than it is right now. Because if Joe Musgrove gets hurt in August, that likely means he's not back for the playoffs or whatever. But if he doesn't start the season if he starts the season on the IL, then he can come back, and who knows how many more innings he can pitch. I do think that they're going to take it easy with him this year. I think it's how a lot of teams do it. And it's up to the medical staff to tell Joe, hey, you need to throttle it back a little bit because you're still trying to come off of a major surgery. And I'm also seeing opinions out there of Joe Musgrove is a bust now. And he took the $20 million and ran, or the $100 million and ran. I don't think that's true at all. And the reason I don't think it's true is because Joe Musgrove would much rather be pitching right now than being than making money on the IL. I don't know Joe personally, but I've talked to him enough, been around him enough, know enough people that know him to know that he would much rather be out there pitching. So if you want to think that Joe Musgrove is a bust, go for it. It's up to you. I mean, there's no wrong answer here. I don't personally think he's a bust. I don't think injuries make him a bust. But we all know Joe Musgrove is going to be working to get back. As long as he can get back, he's going to get back. So when I see things like that, Joe Musgrove stole money from the Padres, fine. You want to believe that? Fine. But you also have to forget about his win over the Mets in the wild card game. You also have to forget about his no-hitter. You have to forget about all of that stuff. So, yes, it's a terrible way to start the year, but it's not the end of the world. I can't say what you said, KG, but it's funny. Let's hear from Craig Stammen today after the Padres win today. They beat the Giants 3-1, and Walker Buehler started, went 5 innings. I didn't know this. I was alerted that Sam did a talk did a little interview with Walker Buehler, so we'll play that a little bit later as well. But I think we need to focus on Walker Buehler because he's going to be the fourth starter of this team. And I'm thinking that we are seeing Walker Buehler slowly inching into he's going to be very important for the Padres this year. So here's Craig Stammen after today's game.
Craig, how would you assess what Walker did today?
Walker did great. Threw the ball really well, mixed a lot of his pitches, got out of jam. So, did really well today.
I know earlier today you said you would wait until you absolutely had to make a decision about roster consideration, but has he put himself in a pretty good position to be in that kind of spot when it's all said and done based on what he's done this spring?
Yeah, I mean, you throw 5 shutout when it matters. That is, something to say about it. We're going to keep doing the same thing, keep evaluating everybody. It's not always about results in spring training. Sometimes you're not facing the lineups that are going to be, big league ready. Probably not the lineup we're going to face games 4, 5, and 6 at Petco. But you can only do what you can with what you got to work with. And he went out there and threw 5 shutout like he should. Proud of Walker. He did great today. And, look forward to his next outing.
Nice to see Adcock back out there.
Yeah, good to see Ty out there. Gave up that tough triple down the line and then shut her down after that. It's great pitching by him. A couple big outs right there at the end with the guy on third, stranding that runner. Good to see him back out there. Showed some really good stuff. 97 mile-an-hour fastball. So, another guy that we got in our stable that we can count on.
Is that an oblique for him?
Yeah, it was. It was, yes.
How could Jackson Wolf fit into what you do this season at some point?
Yeah, lefties. You never have enough lefties. And, the funk that he brings, the 6'7" frame, arms, elbows, knees, toes coming at you. He's going to keep hitters off balance. I think short stints in the big leagues, he could be really good. A la Kyle Hart. They're, kind of in that same mode together. Jackson's improved quite a bit over the last few years going through the minor leagues. And, he's knocking on the door to be ready to get called up to the big leagues at some point.
Marcus talked about how he can't lean on his fastball as much as he used to before his second Tommy John. Like, how different of a pitcher is he compared to what you remember seeing early in his career?
Yeah, he's different in the fact that he's not just throwing 4-seamers and curveballs and sweepers. He's got kind of 4, 5, 6 pitches, striking, Eldridge out on 2 changeups. He never threw a changeup before. So he's learning how to be a pitcher, which is cool to see because he was a thrower that was a pitcher. Back when I saw him with the Dodgers, just elite stuff. And it was just like, hang on for your hats. This could be a no-hitter at any point. Now he's learning how to pitch, mix speeds, throw it to both corners, throw it up, throw it down. It's kind of fun to see like a real pitcher, a guy evolve and, show he's got more tricks than just throwing hard and having elite stuff.
All right, that was Craig Stammen after the game today, and Walker Buehler went 5 innings for the Padres, did a very good job. Of course, he's, as I just said, he's going to work himself into rotation. We'll hear from Walker Buehler in the next segment after Sam talked to him today, or the media talked to Walker Buehler after his start today. Jackson Wolf, another name that Sam Levitt brought up earlier as a guy who could potentially be a part of this team at some point this year. So all of I don't know what else to say, honestly. And I know it's my job to find the words, but I don't know what else to say other than this is what they're faced with right now, and you got to move forward. They are one of the they spend more money than a lot of teams in baseball. Now, you may think they might allocate their money poorly, which is totally fine, but this team is putting their best foot forward. You're not going to have every guy in Major League Baseball. And you got to think, where is this team without Walker Buehler right now? Do I know what he's going to do during the regular season? No. Do I think that he's going to go out there and be the Walker Buehler of old? No. But there is somewhere in the middle. There is somewhere in the middle that Walker Buehler can be an effective starter at the Major League level. So at this point, the games have to be played. There's unless they make a major trade, or if someone if someone comes up and throws lights out for the rest of spring training, can be put in there. I just don't see it happening. So as a recovering alcoholic, this is how I look at it. This is what I'm faced with, and that's what I have to do going forward. I can't be worried about the past. So that's where my opinion comes from. I cannot be worried about things that have already happened. You got to adjust and move forward. At least in my opinion, you have to adjust and move forward. I know that, again, this is why I love sports, and sports talk is one person's opinion is another person's garbage. Wait, did I say that right? One person's opinion is another person's trash, and one person's trash is another person's great opinion. Probably made no sense whatsoever, but I'm going to just keep going with it. because you should see sometimes the messages I get. How could you sit there and talk about this team like they're going to win the World Series? I have no idea if they're going to win the World Series. Do I think that they can put themselves in a spot? I think they can put themselves in a spot to make the playoffs for sure. But right now, obviously, the only team I can say that I'm confident in winning the World Series is the team up north, and I hate saying it and thinking it. Just hate it. But it's true. It's true. And even then, they're kind of getting a little old. Freddie Freeman's getting up there in years. Mookie Betts is getting up there in years. So, if anything was proven to me last year, it's that even if you have a super team, you are not guaranteed to win 150 games because the Padres had a shot at the division. They had a shot. So you can't say that the Dodgers ran away with it. That was the Padres to win last year, and they lost. And everything could have been different about it. They could have got a home series against the Reds, and then maybe the Dodgers are sent to Chicago to play the Cubs. Who knows what happens? But at this point, we just got to move forward. I don't know if that's and taking the easy way out, but that's how I think about it. All right, when we get back, Walker Buehler with the media after his start today, and then I have a couple random stories that we could talk about here on 97.3 The Fan and the Skraby Show.
Studios. We know how.
All guests on 97.3 The Fan are brought to you by the SCCCU Fan Hotline. It's not big bank banking, it's better. Final segment of the Skraby Show. I'm Matt Skraby. Thanks for joining me. Again, you can watch on YouTube, 97.3 The Fan, also at the Skraby Show on YouTube. Please go subscribe to the Skraby Show YouTube so I can get more people, so I can do more cool things. Again, I think I've explained this before. I had no idea there's so many different tiers. Like, I signed up for YouTube a couple years ago, and I was like, hey, I'll pop on YouTube Live every once in a while and just say, talk to people. Well, you can't do that from your phone when you have no followers. So you got to get like 500 or something like that. I don't know. I didn't know YouTube has so many different levels of how you can broadcast, but hey, that's what's going on here. In the World Baseball Classic, interesting moment, bottom of the fifth, Italy still leads Venezuela 2-1. But the pitcher of Venezuela threw a fastball, and I don't know if the catcher wasn't thinking it was fastball because he didn't really make a great effort to go get the ball, but it hit the umpire right in the face. Like fastball, just right in the face. And of course, obviously he has a mask on and everything like that. So he's fine, but that cannot feel good. I don't care if you have a mask on or not. I mean, the guy's throwing 96-mile-an-hour sinkers. Think about what a fastball is. But yeah, it was bad. It was like a direct hit to this umpire's face. So we'll keep an eye on the World Baseball Classic. Winner of this game goes to play Team USA tomorrow night. I know that Chris said today, I finally got into the World Baseball Classic. I got into it last edition, but I think that the World Baseball Classic is something that's got staying power. Like, I don't even really care about the Olympics, to be honest. I know Bryce Harper said last week, hey, the World Baseball Classic is great, but I think the Olympics are better. He's like, everybody watches random sports in the Olympics. That's how great it is. Well, I see baseball all the time, so I'm not necessarily going to go seek out baseball during the Olympics, but the World Baseball Classic is perfect because what did we watch last night? A competitive baseball game on a Sunday night in March. Like, there's not any football games, obviously. There are no really big NBA games because it's not that part of the season yet. So this is a perfect placement for it. It's just absolutely perfect. You get real competition in spring training. It's great. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, we're going to get into some of these weird stories here before we move on tonight. I guess I should say that Nick Pivetta, this was a note I forgot to mention at the top. Nick Pivetta was back pitching over the weekend, said he felt great, feels good after resting the arm. So there's an example of something where, hey, he's missing a start. Are we nervous? To, oh, well, his arm was tired, I guess. Arm fatigue. And now he's okay. So he threw. He feels good. He's ready to go for the season. Aztecs also did not get selected to the NCAA tournament, which I didn't really think they were. The only time that I thought they were is because they were doing those things where it was the first four out, and it was like it kept changing. And San Diego State was in the first four out a lot. So I thought, okay, they got to the championship game. Maybe that gets them enough points to get into the tournament. Did not happen. And I don't really think they deserved it. It was too much of a inconsistent year. Now, winning 22 games, good season. But when you're playing in the Mountain West, you have to win the Mountain West tournament to make sure that you get into the tournament. So we're going to be going into March Madness with no San Diego State Aztec team. But we will go to March Madness with at least one basketball team in town heading to their tournament, and that would be the UCSD women. They won the tournament over the weekend, so they are headed to the NCAA tournament. All right, Walker Buehler pitched today. And we're going to do a lot of Walker Buehler talk here as we go along because he's going to be firmly entrenched in this team. But Walker Buehler was interviewed after the game. And if I could find where the heck I put this stupid, I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Here's Walker Buehler with the media.
Walker had it field today, 5 scoreless innings, had to work out of trouble a couple of times, but seemed like the results were pretty good.
Yeah, Campy and I did, I think he did a really, really good job implementing the game plan that we kind of come up with. And, good to kind of use all the pitches. Changeup was really good today, something we've been working on. So, all in all, really good day.
Speaking of the pitch mix, you talked last time about wanting to use the fastball a little bit more. You did that today. Was that part of the game plan?
Yeah, I mean, kind of use it or lose it situation. I would love to throw it 100, as I've said a million times, but, we got to use it a little bit more selectively than we used to. And, my strengths are on the outside of the ball and spinning it. So new slider has really helped out as well. So kind of 2 new mid-speed pitches that are kind of putting some more pressure on guys to kind of choose hard or soft.
With the 2 new pitches, like how different are they from what you used to throw in the past? Are they minor tweaks? Or
you know what? I don't know if I've thrown the same changeup or same slider for a whole season in my career. I've always been a tinker with those 2. They just don't come quite as naturally to my hand as some of the other ones. And I didn't throw much sweeper last year. My elbow just wasn't in a position to do it. So really, it's 3 new throws that are a lot more familiar in 21. Those were all big throws for me, and so. Getting the sweeper back, getting a changeup that I feel like I can throw kind of to right and to left. You just, if you don't throw that hard, I feel like the more weapons you can take out there with you, the more comfortable you can be and try and get through games without having to double up a lot of stuff. And all in all, I feel good.
2024, we talked about how you kind of reinvented yourself as a pitcher. Is that an evolving process for you constantly?
Yeah, it's hard, man. I think the way I pitch for a lot of years was very fastball heavy. And so, I could just hide a lot of this stuff and I could make one good slider throw to each guy every at bat and have a decent chance to get him out or strike him out. So, now having to kind of mix and match and guys are going to see the same pitch multiple times, I think is kind of a new thing for me, but something that, when I was young, I remember in high school, the draft, I was always a pitchability guy. And so, kind of getting back to that and kind of the way I pitch in college, to be honest, I think is something that's in there. It's just, now my delivery and elbow are in a spot that my hand gets in a decently the same spot every time and can kind of actually know what's going to happen out of my hand.
How are you feeling with what you went through?
It sucks, man. The second Tommy John's horrific. And obviously, the timing of mine in terms of my career was really tough, but, I'm just happy to be in a place where I can wake up, my elbow doesn't hurt, and go play catch without worrying too much about it. So, all in all, happy to be playing professional baseball and hoping to help this team this year.
There you go. Walker Buehler with the media after the game today. And Gator Padre said this on the chat, but I agree. Listening to Walker, he likes listening to Walker Buehler, and I do too. Yeah, I seem to learn something from Walker Buehler every single time. But it sounds like it would be very strange, actually, to be like someone who I'm trying to explain, or I'm trying to think of an example, but like maybe you are a football player and you're so strong, you just run everybody over all the time. And then all of a sudden you get a little bit older and you can't run everybody over all the time. So now you need to learn how to do a spin move, or now you need to learn how to juke right or left or whatever. That's exactly what Walker Buehler's doing. And you could tell that he knows what he's talking about. And I like the match of him and Ruben Niebla together, because 2 good baseball minds together is good. And he said he's going to help this team. Well, he's going to have the chance, because I'm pretty sure he's going to be on the team. All right. There's Walker Buehler. It would be, I mean, I keep going back to this thing. He's fastball dominant most of his career, but now he has to go and try to figure out how to pitch without a fastball, or at least a dominating fastball. I like when guys reinvent their career. I think I've said this recently, but I like when guys reinvent their career. I like when guys are not so stuck in their ways, like it's fastball or else. type of thing. He's like, I don't have a fastball anymore. It's going to get by guys. I got to be a better pitcher, not just a thrower. So there you go. Walker Buehler. Now let's go to some of the random stories that I wanted to talk about. One sports related, one not sports related. But I want to go back to something that we talked about during Gwen and Chris, which is Trinidad Chambliss, the Ole Miss quarterback, is trying to get money. I believe there's a lawsuit in process right now against EA Sports in their college football video game because he said that he was up for, or at least this is coming from the lawyer, he was up for the cover athlete of he was the cover athlete of what's the game? NCAA football. I don't know why I forgot the name of it, and it's not even that big of a deal name, but he was supposed to be the cover of that. The EA Sports people ended up telling him, "Hey, we're not going to choose you as the cover because you're in the middle of a court process. We're not sure if you're going to be playing next year, so we don't want to be caught with you on the cover when you're not actually playing college football." So the filing in court said that he's going to be Trinidad Chambliss going to be missing out on NIL compensation for being on the cover. He's also saying, quote, Trinidad would have enjoyed heightened notoriety and prestige since the cover is shot considering an honor in college football and in the gaming community. Appearing on the cover would have created organic publicity for Trinidad, enhancing both his marketability and publicity rights. Being on the cover would have been personally meaningful to Trinidad, who could have shown his cover photo to potential employers and even his children and grandchildren. Now, I would like for them to move that last statement up to the top. Being on the cover would have been personally meaningful to Trinidad. Instead, they started with all the money that he's going to miss out on. But I bring this up to say, why can't we just accept certain things in life? I think all of us have to accept certain things in life. But it just seems like a lot of people don't accept certain things in life anymore. Like, you got dropped by EA Sports because they're not sure if you're going to be playing football next year at the college level. That is a fair thing for EA Sports to tell you. That is a fair thing. If I wanted to put MLB, or if I was deciding on the cover of MLB The Show, and I picked someone who I wasn't sure was going to retire or not, and then they ended up, like, say they selected Clayton Kershaw. We weren't sure. Is he going to come back for another year or not? Clayton Kershaw's on the cover. He doesn't come back. Looks pretty stupid for choosing Clayton Kershaw. I just think, like, we cannot accept certain things anymore. And that part really does bother me. Because this is a business decision for EA Sports. They did not harm you in any way. They did not ruin your career. Your career is already up in the air because you've played 6 years, or you're going into a 6th year of college football. Like, come on. Do you want to be a professional, or do you want to just make money at the college level? If you want to make money at the college level, then I'm fine with that. Like, that's your choice. Go for it. But if you want to make money at the NFL level, go to the NFL. Stop trying to play college. Some people, this is their only shot at money, is playing college sports and getting paid for it. That's their only shot at money. Some of these guys, Trinidad Chambliss, I don't care if he's an NFL-ready quarterback or not, or NFL prospect or not, he will be brought in by a team. It's not a question. So it just seems like everything these days, everything, all of these things are, it's just such a me society in certain ways. And it really bothers me. And I don't even know if Trinidad Chambliss even wants this to happen. Sounds like a lawyer got in his ear and said, hey, we can file a lawsuit, try to get you some money out of this because they didn't choose you. What if they didn't choose him? What if they just said, hey, we don't want to choose you? Can he still do this? And part of me says that he would be doing this. It's like, take your L and move on, dude. Just take the L. Clay says potential earnings are not fact. Thank you, Clay. 1 billion%, Clay. You get a bunch of points on this, Clay, because no one knows what you were going to make, or unless you had contracts in front of you that said, if you're the EA Sports cover athlete for college football, then we're going to give you $10 million. And if you're not, no $10 million. It just doesn't, it doesn't happen that way. Like you didn't get selected. Move on with your life, please. I don't know why this little thing with Trinidad Chambliss bothered me so much, but it really did. It's like, come on, dude. Every job that I've missed out on, should I go file a lawsuit saying that I would have really liked that job? I would have really had the notoriety put to my name because I got... No, it doesn't work like that in the real world. And I'm getting tired of athletes thinking they are not part of the real world. KG says, how can you not trust his attorney, Lionel Hutz? Didn't know Lionel Hutz was his name, but that's a funny name. All right, this is a non-sports related story, and it has to do with a police officer in Tennessee. He works for the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Now, they're having a lot of problems with drunk driving in Tennessee, apparently. I mean, obviously, drunk driving is a problem everywhere, not just Tennessee. But they're really trying to crack down in Tennessee on this drunk driving. But there's a trooper named James Zahn who arrested at least 8 sober drivers for DUI. The police kind of sort of knew this, they're finding out. So he was arresting people if he thought they had suspicion of drinking and driving, even though they were proven to have not been drinking and driving. And so what they did was they were kind of erring on the side of caution. If you think this person is intoxicated and could harm the public, then you need to arrest them and charge them with DUI. So what happened? But 8 of those people were sober, and they knew about this. The higher-ups knew about this. So what they did, they ordered the trooper, James Zahn, to undergo a 4-hour DUI retraining session. Like, this makes me laugh too. 4-hour course undergoing a DUI retraining session? That is ridiculous. It's stupid. And why not just not arrest the sober people? Because you know what? Those people have to probably pay some money to get out. They have all of this drama that they have to deal with now. It's just a lot. It's just a lot, and I don't like it. And now we're going to go into something else I don't like.
What's annoying Skraby today? Let's find out. It's time for the Daily Gripe.
Oh, KG tells me Lionel Hutz is a Simpsons reference. I can't believe I didn't realize that. Anyway, thank you for that, KG. All right, the Daily Gripe for today is something to do with my dog Lucky, which I bring up Lucky all the time because he's amazing and I love him. But he's doing this thing. Like I've said this before, Lucky is the most dog that I've ever had in my entire life. Likes to dig, likes to hide things, likes to jump in puddles, all of that. Well, his thing now is he's been digging a lot. I think he's trying to get like a gopher or something. But what he does is he digs all the dirt into a pile, and then he goes and lays in it and sleeps in it. So he comes in all dirty. And I've tried to been telling him that. Like, hey, bro, you can't be laying in the dirt. That's just not good. But every time, like 3 times this weekend, cleaned up the dirt. Came back outside. Dirt was all over the ground and he was in it again. So, Lucky, come on, man. Come on. I don't have time to give you a bath every single day. At least he's not rolling in coyote feces anymore like he used to, because he would. But I just don't have the time to give you a bath every single day, big man. I just want to say to Ken Duncan, said earlier, always love to you. Gotta say it. LOL. Chris Ello, I like him, but I love listening to you, and I'm turning 60 this year. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Ken. And Ken says, just sucks. With my job and life, I rarely listen live. Odyssey is how I listen. Been here from day one of the sports family. So glad Let's Talk Hookup is on here now. Thank you very much, Ken. Thank you to everyone. Have a great night. I'll be back with you tomorrow. Chris and I start at 2 p.m. Yes, that's the showtime on 97.3 The Fan. Have a good night. Hey, it's Skraby.